What's up, guys? So today I thought I'd bring out a blast from the past. I've been doing some cleaning out of stuff, and I came across this beast, and I thought I'd make a little video on it in case you guys haven't seen it. This is an older Thrunite model. This was, I want to say, maybe my second or third Thrunite flashlight I ever had. The first one I believe was a TN12. I think that was the very first model I ever had. I didn't know what the company was. I don't know how long the company existed before that period either. But this is the Catapult V5. And this thing really is a beast. So you can see we have the sheath that's on here, all right? It's obviously very long, has a hole in the bottom, so this can poke out of the bottom of the sheath, and the sheath doesn't have to be this massive thing. And this thing is super cool. So let's pop this out of its holster and take a look at it. So what makes this kind of unique, I guess, at least when this was available, and I don't know what year this thing was available. I'm sure I have a video on it. If I don't, you know, shame on me. I should have made a video on it, but this is years old. I want to, well, I'm not even gonna guess. You guys can figure it out and see if I do have a vid. But what was kind of cool about this was this filter contraption. And this is very like, I don't know, space age looking to me. And it was cool then, and to be honest, it's still cool. So on the side here, we have a latch that you can pop up. This is basically just bringing in this ring tighter so it's locked on to the end of the flashlight. But pop that up, and then we can twist this guy off here. All right, there's the business end of the flashlight. That's super deep reflector. But yeah, this is just a, it's a pop-up filter diffuser. That's all it is a diffuser. And it just locks on to your flashlight. Before I put it back on, we'll take a look at this. Again, super deep reflector on this one. This one had a Cree XPL HI LED, which was cool at the time. They still use them in lots of different models. This was 1200 lumens, which was like mind-boggling bright back in the day. Can you believe that? 1200 lumens, it was bright. Well, guess what? 1200 lumens is still bright. It's just for the price of this thing, this is easily over $100. I want to say it was probably $150 or $200 at the time. But I remember I needed to have one. When I saw this thing, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and I wanted one. So how this works is there's two separate dedicated buttons. One is just for strobe. All right, so you just push that and you hold it down. All right, and there's your strobe. When you let go, it went off. That was it. There was no constant on. You would just hold this down as long as you want strobe. Let go when you don't. Then the second button here was to turn it on. Now the second button is constant on. And this thing, because it has this big, long, deep reflector, this is running on two 18650 batteries. A ton of energy here, a ton of power, but this really is kind of like a laser beam of light. It really throws quite far. I don't remember the exact specs on it. Of course, you can probably reference that online somewhere. But yeah, it was super cool. So the idea here is you have the light. If you need some kind of tactical situation, you can hit that strobe, you know, on either the person you're defending yourself from or the animal, whatever it happens to be. Take the cap off the diffuser. Actually, you don't even have to take it off. I'll show you why. Just a second here. Let's pop that back on, lock it on. Just use the flip up little window. All right, so when you want to use the light and have all that throw, you can certainly do so. Or you put the diffuser back on, and then when you have the light on, it diffuses it. That's the purpose. So instead of having all the throw, it basically bounces this light every which way, so you have a bunch of spill. So you have the wall of light. And it works quite effectively. You know, it's hard to, you know, give an example here on the table. And even on the table, it doesn't look all that bright, but trust me, it is pretty darn bright. 1200 lumens, like I said, even though there's lights with 3000 lumens, 5000 lumens, 10,000 lumens, 1200 is bright. I still believe anything over 60 lumens is considered tactical. And by tactical, it just means that it could, you know, temporarily blind you or irritate your eyes enough where you can use it defensively. So 60 lumens is not much. Anyway, I thought this was a really cool little piece of my flashlight history anyway. And I thought it'd be interesting to talk about a little bit here. Even though this was like the most amazing thing back then, pulling this out and finding this and rediscovering it, going outside, I you know, played around with it last night a little bit when it got dark. It's still super impressive. It's still cool. And I think the big takeaway from this video that I wanted to express is that even though some flashlights are outdated, they're still useful. They still work, you know? Your old Maglite, you know, your whatever it is, you know, your 3D Maglite, 2C, whatever you happen to have, maybe you have a little Maglite Mini, right? It doesn't compare to what's available on the market today, but it still allows you to see in a dark place. You know what I'm saying? Even a dollar store flashlight with a super crappy bulb, you know, running on AA batteries or something, it still works. You know what I mean? It may not be the best, it's not impressive, it's not cool, it's not the latest and greatest, but you don't always have to have the latest and greatest. This is an expensive flashlight for its era, and it's still considered an expensive flashlight. Some people might collect these flashlights, some people might have moved on and said, nope, there's bigger and better things now, you know? But just because it's old doesn't make it not good. The same thing goes for knives or other type of gear. There's definitely fads that we see in the gear community, you know, things that are popular one day and then no one cares the next day. Sometimes it's entire brands. Sometimes it's just specific models from certain brands. But life goes on. The thing with flashlights, it's kind of like, it's almost like TVs, you know? When we went from, you know, tube TVs to flat screen TVs, that was a huge transition. And I remember, you know, the first flat screen TVs being $5,000, $6,000. It was amazing, way back in the day. And then like now you go to Walmart or something, or you know, anywhere, Best Buy, Target, whatever, you can get like a 55-inch TV for $500, you know, regardless of the brand. And you can get really good name brand TVs for just a little bit more. Technology is always advancing and always changing, and with flashlights, it seems to be just kind of like cell phones or other technology. You get, you know, more advanced batteries, more powerful LEDs, and you get more light in smaller packages, right? But the old stuff still works. That's kind of my point here, you know. Maybe it's worth going into your junk drawer or your toolbox or something, grab an old flashlight and see what you think. Grab a flashlight you haven't used in years, and you might find yourself still impressed by it. You know, and that's kind of how I felt with this thing. I was still impressed by it. The very gimmicky, totally unnecessary clamp-on diffuser is cool. It's cool to me. It's not necessary at all, you know, and like diffusers today, sometimes you have like diffuser wands, which serve a totally different purpose, but, you know, they'll pop on, pop off. They're small. Sometimes it's a little filter you can screw on to the head of the light. This is like an overbuilt contraption, but it's still cool, and it still serves its purpose, right? It diffuses the light very well, but if you want to reach out, you take it off. You know, I find the same thing happens in the gun communities, all right? There's a constant chase for something better, right? You know, you get the latest and greatest compact pistol and you start, you know, carrying it. And then all of a sudden they come out with a different model that competes with it, that holds an extra 2 rounds, that's smaller and lighter. You know, it's a constant chase. Technology is a constant chase, you know? But the old stuff still works fine. So I'd love to hear some gear that you've been using for years and absolutely love and just don't feel a need to upgrade. You know, that's kind of the point of today's video, and the little theme is old stuff that still works. And this is just one of those things. It's an old thing that still works fine. So anyway, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.